Hello, I'm Junaid Tibshirani with 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz. This is where you get everything you need to know in 90 seconds at 9 o'clock, with news the Brexit fallout is getting real. 3 more fund managers have stopped investors from leaving their UK property funds, bringing the number of funds unable to meet withdrawal requests up to 6. More than half of the £25 billion of funds committed to commercial property by retail investors have now been frozen by their asset managers, which are coming under pressure to sell buildings to raise cash. Italy's banking crisis is far from subsiding. Shares in Italy's banker Monte dei Paschi di Siena have crashed 45% in 10 days, forcing regulators to temporarily ban short selling in the stock. The bank has been given until Friday to come up with a plan to reduce its bad loans by 40% in the next 2 years. Other Italian bank stocks have fallen by around 30% since the Brexit. The French government has pledged to make its tax regime for expats the most favourable in Europe, in a land grab for London banking business. In other news, an independent inquiry has slammed the Blair government for not knowing what it was doing, going to war in Iraq with the US in 2003. The Chilcot report reveals it made its call based on flawed intelligence and ill preparation. It says Blair underestimated the difficulties and consequences of the war and overestimated the influence he would have over George Bush. And finally, we have a bit more clarity about why the Federal Reserve has been sending conflicting signals about when it plans to hike rates. The minutes from its pre-Brexit June meeting show officials voted unanimously to sit tight. Yet it was the result of confusion rather than consensus, as officials couldn't see eye to eye on the strength of the US's labour market. The US Treasury 10-year yield has inched up overnight to 1.39%, but is still well below its previous 2012 low of 1.43%. The US benchmark oil price remains low at $47 a barrel, while the Brent benchmark is at $49 a barrel. The gold price has risen to $1,364 an ounce. The New Zealand dollar is fairly unchanged from 24 hours ago against the US at 71.3 US cents. It's weakened slightly against the Aussie but remains very strong at 94.9 Australian cents. The dollar's down a little to 64.2 euro cents. The TWI index is at 74.9. I'm Junaid Tibshirani, and that was 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz.